Sounds like we got a bit of audio. I don't know if we have the good audio out of this mic, though. Perfect. Thanks a lot, Pat. Perfect. So I guess we'll start from the beginning since we just talked for a few minutes and nobody heard a damn thing we said. It's still quiet, eh? Okay, that's because the good mic's not working here. Just didn't want just my ugly face in on this live stream. But I'm sure you can hear me really well now, guys. Oh, sorry. Still quiet? That's better. Okay, perfect. Excellent. So, sorry, we're going to be looking at my ugly mug on the one side. This is just how it's going to have to be. You still don't have any? Sorry, guys. Kind of new at this. Camera, audio. How's that? Okay, perfect. Okay, guys. So, like I was saying, this is my friend Trevor here. We already talked a whole bunch, but nobody heard anything we said. So we'll start from the beginning. Thanks for showing up for the first Aquaria talk. And this is my guest, Trevor. He's a good friend of mine and very, very knowledgeable about the hobby, the retail side, the breeding side, all of it. And we're just going to have a great little talk here over a couple of rum and cokes. And we're mainly going to talk about, is there any money in breeding fish in your home, in your basement? And if there is money, if there isn't, best practices of doing it that we figured out how to do anyways. And I'll let Trevor talk for himself here, but he's got so much experience from the retail side. Take it away, man.
Yeah, so I work in a place in Australia called Critter Cove, and I've been there about 20 years now. And I've seen a lot of things in the fish hobby come and then go. Yeah, it's a whole different thing nowadays. Years ago, breeding for money, for fun, but also if you can turn a profit, that's a bonus. But things are a little different nowadays. It's definitely, you got to pick your fish. A lot of fish, like African cichlids, a lot of people are selling them on Kijiji and outlets like that, and it's hard for stores to compete in that kind of arena. So definitely in the store anyway, African cichlids especially have taken a huge hit.
They have, but I think that's a geographical issue as well. Yes, whereas absolutely. As around here, yeah, you know, and I know African cichlids don't sell worth a damn. But go down to the city, yeah, and they sell like hotcakes. Yeah. There's a bigger market there, I guess. But around here, you'd be wasting your time to try and breed African cichlids and sell them to make a profit around here anyways. Hence why I just use my big tank just as a fun to look at tank, right? Yeah. Beyond that, I guess it depends what you're looking to get out of it. If you're looking to actually make money, if you're trying to supplement an income or create an income, yeah, or whether you're just trying to pay for your hobby. Myself personally, I have a lot of tanks. I got close to 30 tanks. Many of them are for pleasure, though, and I don't consider them for profit.
For sure.
But I personally make enough to basically pay for my hobby, for the livestock side of things. And I think I put an awful lot of effort into that. And if I ever put it into an hourly wage, I'm the craziest man alive, right? Like, you know the same.
Yeah. You got to do it for the love of the hobby. Absolutely. And pick your fish. There's a lot of fish out there that usually the harder to breed fish are going to be more in demand because they're more rare, because they're harder to breed, and therefore command a higher price. A lot of people, I find, don't want to pay the higher price for something rare, but there are people like myself and you that will pay the extra buck to get something that no one else has, and especially if you can try to breed it, that would be
Most definitely.
a bonus.
What would you say would be probably the most profitable fish to breed? I'd say keeping it under like owning 6 tanks to do it.
I would say blue rams.
Blue rams?
Blue rams.
Okay.
Yeah. Or the dark night rams, or the electric blue rams, or the blue.
I could tell you Steve Langley in Barrie did that, and he basically got out of the rams.
Did he?
Yeah.
No way.
I think for the hassle of them, it still wasn't enough.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely more tricky than like angels. You can breed angels all day long, but rams are definitely a little tricky, especially the newborn babies. They're really small and they're pretty fragile.
I think if I was looking to see what I could enjoy, but also try to make a profit off of, because if I'm just doing it for a profit, I still like to enjoy it. I still kind of need to enjoy it, or I'm going to lose interest anyways. Whether there's profit or not, I'm not going to care for them as well as if I enjoy them, right? That the amount of hand labor you put into it is incredible. So I guess, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I do plecos. And I do Bristlenose plecos a lot because I know they're in demand and I can get rid of them. But thank you. But there's a few things I had to do to prepare to get that far. First, I'd see if I could breed them. And then I had to find outlets to sell them. But even before I even got close to selling them, I had to figure out a system on how to breed them and how to breed them consistently, because something I found was with retail outlets like you guys you said, Jesse, we want 50 plecos, bristlenose short fins every 2 weeks, and say I didn't deliver on that, what would you guys do?
We'd have to order from a wholesaler.
You would find another avenue too,
and we'd much rather buy from a private breeder like yourself.
Yeah, but you'd like that breeder to be consistent.
Yeah.
And so I had to figure out how I could be consistent with it. And that required multiple tanks because I have to raise multiple generations at a time, because I know, and you guys, like everybody who sells them in retail, like some sizable, couple inches, I'd say 1.5 inches to 2 inches. And it takes time to get like 4 months, 5 months on good food, good water, to raise these fish up to that size. So there's your time commitment right there. And it requires a lot of tanks to do that, but you have to do that and stage it if you're going to be consistent on selling to your retailers. The relationship with your retailer. It's hard to just walk in to a fish store where you've never really met the owner, never really met the employees, and just say, hey, can you buy my fish?
What I used to do when I was breeding angels back in the day, I would actually take about half a dozen of my nice angels, and I would go to a store and I'd say, I'm going to give you guys these. This is what I breed. You can see the quality, and just take them, see how they sell. And here's my card. Give me a call if you're interested in more.
Perfect.
That's it.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect strategy.
Yep.
I very well have done the same thing with all the outlets I have to sell out as well.
Yeah.
And I've built friendships with these people as well, good friendships. And I think that's the biggest part. If you don't have an outlet to get rid of them, that's the hardest part of the whole equation. If you can't reel in the money for them, then you're not making a profit.
I was just at a gentleman's house, and I was buying some really high-end fancy guppies, and he had so many guppies. I've never seen so many of one kind of a guppy before, and it was beautiful setup. He had long fin black angels, which were phenomenal, all at the selling size, and he didn't want to sell them to stores because they weren't giving him what he felt they were worth. So he's sitting on all these fish, and I'm like, holy cow, you got so much money sitting here, and you're running out of space. So you got to move stuff out, and he just
wouldn't.
He just cannot bring himself to sell these fish at a reduced price than he feels they're worth, because he's put a lot of time, especially into the guppies, where he's bred them generation after generation to get the best color, get the best finnage, and he doesn't want to let them go cheap, or not cheap, but inexpensive, so people can buy them, especially at store.
Yeah. And especially with guppies, if he's got a select line, he probably won't want to sell a lot of the females with them either, right? He won't want it. He won't want just anybody playing with his strain.
Yep.
And that's where it's hard when you're into select stuff like guppy strains like that. You end up either calling a lot of females, or you end up selling trios, and then people will kind of dilute your strain after. And you might as well, once you start selling trios, you might as well just move on to the next kind.
One thing I've noticed being at the store all these years is guppies sell extremely well, and female guppies sell really, really well.
Yeah.
So personally, what I do, and I have gotten back into the guppies, is you take your males, sell them to store A, take your females, sell them to store B. So you're not losing out on your females, and you know that someone out there is not getting your genetics to cross, which kind of sounds a little bit, I don't know. Because a lot of people, like I went down there and I bought males and females to produce what he's been working on for the last 5 years.
Yeah, you're getting a great deal out of it.
Yeah.
Even though I know you paid for them, you're getting a great deal out of it with the work he's put in.
Yeah.
When someone's asking $40, $50, $60, I've seen $80, $90, $100 a trio for a select strain of guppies that someone's put their heart and soul, probably dedicated 20 tanks to one strain. Been hatching brine shrimp every day for the last 20 years. The house just reeks like brine shrimp.
Yep.
And if they want to charge you $80 for that trio of guppies that they've put their heart and soul in, and you look at them and they're beautiful, they're showstoppers, you're going to go somewhere, you just saved 20 years for $80. It's the way I look at it. Not everybody looks at it that way, but
I actually bought a pair. I had delivered from Hamilton. They shipped them up to me, and it was $100 I paid for unseen fish, and it was a pair
crazy talk
full red albino guppies, and I told them I'm paying $100. I expect a phenomenal male and a phenomenal female, and that's exactly what I got.
Yeah,
and I couldn't have been happier.
You got lucky.
Awesome.
Yeah, but was it a reputable guy?
It was reputable.
There you
Absolutely.
go. That counts for everything, right?
They've been breeding guppies for 20 years.
Yeah.
And they had everything. But I picked their most expensive, their nicest ones. And here's the funny thing, with being in the store, I bred them and I brought them in to sell them at the store. And people would look at these glowing orangey red guppies that were phenomenal, perfect fins and everything. and customers would always pick the multicolor one that I wouldn't flush down the toilet.
Really?
It was so bad.
Well,
I want that one.
yeah,
And it's like, okay.
Now I know yours, the store you work at. It's not a huge fish area in it. You got your basics, right? You guys got your basics.
Yeah, for sure.
Every time I'm in there, everybody's always walking out with glowfish. That's in you.
Yeah, glowfish is a big thing now.
I gotta say, and like they're not cheap; they're expensive, but almost every time I'm in there, I see people walking out with glowfish. Yeah. Now, is it still illegal to breed them?
It is.
Yeah.
The paperwork is like 3 inches thick per fish. So for the neon or the glow danios, it was 3 inch of legal documentation because they have jellyfish DNA in them.
They've patented them.
So basically.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Huh. Yeah. I'm just gonna take one sec here and
comments?
Have a look. Yeah, there's all kinds of comments. I got to. I'm gonna make you a moderator, Bob, if you don't mind. You're already doing it anyways. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hello, everybody. If you're just joining in, welcome. We're just having a very candid aquarium conversation between myself and Trevor. We're talking about breeding fish for profit, if it's worth it, or if it's not worth it, I guess. And I guess anything else that comes up. I know you brought some goodies with you too.
Yeah, I brought some Daphnia for Jesse. I don't know if you can see them.
Yeah, we can get people to see them real good. So there's some Daphnia. I've started breeding some smaller fish that I need some. I don't know if that makes it any better. A little bit. But yeah, they're pretty crazy looking.
Yeah. But we definitely got to get you some smaller food. I got to get some vinegar eels over for you. Yeah,
so what Trevor's talking about is I actually, there's going to be a video coming out on it soon. Sorry, I keep getting out of the camera here. There's going to be a video coming out on it soon. I've actually put moss and some mops in my 55-gallon tank with my rainbow fish. I've never tried to spawn them before, and I got a 10-gallon tank behind me full of little wee, teeny, tiny, microscopic babies. So we're working on some smaller foods to get these little babies going good, because my red rainbows, they're awesome. They're the nicest ones I've seen. I don't know. I've seen quite a few, and they're pretty wicked. So babies from them are appreciated. So we're gonna try to hatch them out. There's a question for you here, Trevor. So how hard is Daphnia to keep?
I just started keeping it, and so far I found it to be very easy. I definitely did my research. I watched a bunch of videos on YouTube, and yeah, so far they breed really rapidly. I'm feeding them a mixture of I just take some powdered Bruges yeast and some powdered spirulina, mix it up, strain it, and then I just shoot that into the I have them in a Rubbermaid container that's approximately a 10-gallon tank size. And I was told, and from my research, you should use a plastic Rubbermaid instead of a glass tank. You can use a glass tank, absolutely, but a Rubbermaid holds the heat in a little bit more. You don't need a heater or anything like that. And yeah, they're multiplying. I brought some ones that they're growing fast, so I brought some over for Jesse to try, and awesome live food. You can't beat it.
And I'm going to ask Trevor this because I'm terrible with pronunciations. What's the name of the food I'm starting upstairs?
Infusoria.
Infusoria. There we go. I've started some Infusoria upstairs. I started 2 different batches. I'm playing with it. I did one with chopped lettuce, and I did one with I have tons of duckweed, so I actually did it with duckweed and whatever snails were in with it and everything. It's going to make bacteria, trust me. So yeah, it's yep, in a windowsill, and we'll have that in a few days for these little fellows. But I think they should be okay in this tank anyways, because there is that Christmas moss, and it's got all kinds of biofilm. And I did something else I didn't tell you about. I took a little page out of a shrimp book on this one, and I actually, when I first seen one baby in there, I put about a half a scoop of Bacter AE in the water.
Right on.
So I was hoping, well, it makes food, right? Yeah. Bacter AE makes exactly what we're trying to do in Fissoria. Yeah. So yeah, biofilm. So hopefully that holds them off until that comes too. Yeah. What else did you bring? Don't hold out on everybody.
Oh, I brought Jesse some killifish eggs that I'm breeding. I've gotten back into killifish pretty hardcore and enjoying them a lot. And I brought brought 6 eggs, and I'm just sitting here talking with Jesse while he's setting up the computer, and I glance over and there's a hatched little killifish in there. So that's kind of cool. Apparently, the way you hatch killifish eggs is bring them over to Jesse.
Yeah.
And they just pop out.
Anyways, yeah, there's just the eggs in there. And I'm like, Trevor, what are you bringing me more eggs for?
But they were laid on the 26th, and they hatched right now.
So is that good for killifish? Because I don't know anything about them. Yeah.
I'm doing it in water instead of on peat. But it's supposed to go faster in water, and I think it's true.
Seems like it. Sure. Yeah. They're tiny. They're the same size as the little rainbow fish babies in there too. Yeah. Now, I'm also waiting to see what else comes out of this moss, because I also have tiger barbs and a pair of Odessa barbs in that tank that could have very well spawned all over this stuff too. Okay. So I could have a
see what happens.
Mixed bag.
But going back to the Daphnia, I want to start producing it a lot so I can start selling it. So I'll sell it for, the going rate seems to be about $10 for 50 is what I paid for them. And then I found a guy down in Toronto, and I got some from him, and it was $10 for 100. So
there you go, people. Yeah. Don't breed fish. Woo, we just got attacked. I put a thing up there to deflect light so the stream looked better, and it just attacked us. But don't breed fish, breed bugs. That seems to be where the money is in the bugs. Yeah. And that brings me to another topic. Well, not go back to the breeding fish for profit. I can say I probably make as much money off of the aquarium plants as I do the fish. Yeah. Honestly. Yeah, I believe it. If you have a little bit of a green thumb that you can cultivate, propagate plants, honestly, I think there's more money in plants than there is fish. By far. Yeah. And one of the simplest, easiest ones that I do is water lettuce. That's one of my biggest sellers here, and I make very good money with it. Yeah. Through Kijiji, through wholesale, through
our store.
Yeah, your store. If you're getting water lettuce at Critters Cove, it came from me.
I sold some the other day. You brought it, and I sold some at the end of the day.
There you go. Right, like it's plants, Rotella, Cabodia, all these plants. People buy them. They look really nice, as you can see in the background. Like those are what I sell, and they're very good for your fish tanks too. But I'm not going to say you don't have to worry about them dying as much, because you do if you don't look after them right. But they're a hell of a lot easier to look after. Yeah. If I didn't have fish in these tanks, let's say the shrimp tanks, for instance, I don't have to feed plants, nothing. Fertilize them once a week, put a good substrate in to buffer the water, and they just grow. A good light, put it on a timer. You don't even have to turn the light on or off. And that's probably the easiest one. If I was to say, if I could only have a certain amount of tanks, the plants would make me more money than the fish would if I was breeding solely for profit.
there's tons of plants out there that you can get into that propagate themselves really quickly
Yeah.
under the right circumstances.
What about
Right
zebra
conditions.
plecos? Would that be?
Zebra plecos are awesome. Anyone that's seen them, they're an amazing pleco. Probably the king of all the plecos. Everybody wants zebra plecos, but they are very expensive, and the price doesn't seem to be going down.
No.
I talked to a store down in the city, and they're between $200 and $300 each.
Was that Discount Dragon?
No.
No, they usually have them down the city. Yeah. Yeah. Fanatics. We can say Fanatics on here. It's not.
Called Fanatics, and
we're not
$200 to
censored.
$300.
Yeah.
$200 to $300 a piece. So they're not going down in price. They've gone way up in price because they used to be. I could get them for $100 to $150. So that's
I can still find them for between 90 and 125, but you're not getting adults for that.
No.
You're not getting adults for that. No, you're getting
young
inch
ones.
to an inch and a half. Yeah.
And how long are they going to take before they're breeding?
It might be another year after that.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a pretty big investment if you want to start with a group of 8 to 10.
Yeah. I remember years ago they collect them in the Zinhu River in Brazil, I believe, and they put a dam on the river, and all of a sudden, their water, which is fast moving, all of a sudden is slow moving now.
Oh no!
And flooded areas everywhere, so the river just got way wider, and that's why the price of zebra plecos, from my understanding, went through the roof. Because I've talked to people that got zebra plecos years ago and paid $15-$20 a piece.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I know they're on the endangered list.
Yeah.
Are they on the
And
CARES?
that's why, because of that.
Are they on the CARES list?
I don't know.
I'm not sure either. I'll have to look. But I'm almost positive, maybe it was last year or the year before, I read an article somewhere about a program to, if you'll give zebra plecos back, to put back into the wild. I know they were hurting that badly for zebra plecos that they were reaching out to aquarists to put them back, which isn't a half bad idea.
No.
It's not a half. I actually dedicate a tank in my fish room just for that. I haven't put any back in the wild. I'm not saying I do that, but I do have a CARES list species that honestly, it's Amica splendens. I find them kind of mundane, kind of boring. They just kind of walk around, swim around. This is rum and coke, people. They just kind of swim around with their mouths kind of. They remind me of goldfish, really, with less color. But they are live bearers, and I keep them, and I'm going to keep trying to breed them, and I'm getting there. They're coming, but I would be more than happy to give them fish to put back into the wild. And I am part of the CARES breeding program for them.
Oh, cool.
So now that program, that being said, I've heard they've had a lot of difficulties as of late and whatnot. I've had a hard time, and my local club liaison has had a hard time getting hold of anybody there to actually get this shit up and running.
Yeah.
So hopefully that program straightens itself out.
Well, we'll see for sure.
Yeah. So what else you got going on?
Well, I got the killifish. I've got about 4 different kinds. And one thing I'm really excited about, I didn't tell you this yet, Jess, is I've got, what's the name? It's, I think it's the largest beta that you can get. They grow to 5 inches.
Oh, wow.
Macrostoma or something like that. The name eludes me at the moment, but they're beautiful.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're about 2.5, 3 inches now, but I saw some 5 inches.
Where did you pick them up, or is this a secret location?
No, I got them in Hamilton, off of Peter de Sousa, and I'm sure lots of people out there know who he is. He's always at the meetings, and he gets meetings going. Like he was telling me he's going to get one going hopefully for March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
yeah, he's a super guy. Gave me a tour of his fish room, and it was awesome. Yeah, and he's full of knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he knows his stuff. So yeah. What else? Um, and then the guppies I have, they're just called black metallics, but they're gorgeous. Like the finnage is phenomenal. I'd like to get a bit bigger size on the body, and I'm going to do that when the babies. I get a drop from the females. I'm just going to pound the live brine shrimp to them. I'm going to give them microworms, brine shrimp. They're only going to eat live food. The gentleman I got them from fed them a crushed up kind of, I don't want to say trout pellet, but it's a pretty high end food, but nothing beats live food in my opinion.
No.
Like nothing.
They just eat more, I think, too, right?
More.
Because they got stuff moving in front of them. Their prey drive goes, and they eat it. When you watch all the little fish, the babies, when they have crushed pellets coming down in front of them, you see them, they just kind of pick at it, But when they got a little brine shrimp doing this in front of them, they
gotta get it.
They go crazy for it, and they make sure they get it, right? So
yeah, live food, guys, is paramount for sure for getting fish the biggest, the quickest, and if you're getting into breeding, live food is the way to go.
So what do you breed for live? What food do you breed for your fish?
Right now I have vinegar eels, micro worms, brindle worms. I hatch out tons and tons of brine shrimp, and I just got into Daphnia now. So I think I got my bases covered.
I think so. It sounds like, I don't know what you guys think, but it sounds like we maybe need to do a video in the future on just hatching out live food at Trevor's place.
Sounds good.
Was that right, Trevor? Beta macrostoma?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, beautiful fish. Love it.
Oh, very good. Give me 1 sec, guys. I'm just trying to have a look here at what all's going on. I've been I hear Frank White. Hi, Frank. How's it going? Good to see you coming out. Question for Trevor. What sells the best at your store?
Good question. I would say it would be a toss-up between male guppies and neon tetras. That would be the number ones at the moment.
And of course, bristlenose plecos.
Actually, yeah.
They do sell quite a few, but it wouldn't be the best.
Too. But yeah, for sure, guppies. Because a lot of people, they come into the store and say, I just set up a tank. I want to get some guppies and I need an algae eater. But a brand new tank doesn't have any algae. So I say, come back in a week, 2 weeks, and then pick up an algae eater. And kind of going on a side topic here, cycling a fish tank. So many new people that are entering the hobby, and I've seen this so many times, they do not do the research on setting up a new tank. They just figure, okay, I'll throw some fish, or sorry, I'll just fill up a tank, throw in some fish. I got a heater, I got a filter. You know, how hard can it be? And then they get too many fish in the beginning. The ammonia goes through the roof. The tank goes all cloudy, and they end up saying, and then all their fish die. And then they end up saying, oh, this hobby sucks. And then they get out of the hobby, and it's a lifelong, incredible hobby that so many of us enjoy. And they got out of it because they didn't do the research.
Yeah.
And see.
And they probably asked for a refund on their fish, too.
Oh, they do. Yeah, all my fish die. Well, it's like, okay, they're alive here at the store, and you take them home, and they all die. Something's wrong with your water.
Yeah.
It's that simple. But we've had people scream at us for,
So how much resistance do you get from people who are not hobbyists, but they're just buying the first fish tank, whatever? They're not really like. So like there's the people that are really, really into it, and then there's the people that are kind of into it, and then there's people that just like to see pretty fish.
Yeah.
Right. And so you would get a lot of I like to see pretty fish people, probably around the holidays especially.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And how hard is it to try to persuade them to cycle their tank before they buy their fish?
Well, the thing I tell people, and it's something I've said for the longest time, it's like what you want to do is first set up. A lot of people, they want to buy a tank today and buy the fish at the same time they're buying the tank. And it's like, you shouldn't do that. You can't do that. Go home, set the tank up, let it run for a couple days, then come in and get fish. Only a few fish. So many people, two things. They either too many fish in the beginning, too fast, and they overfeed. And then their tanks go all cloudy white, and they wonder what's going on. My tank's not clear. Something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing is set your tank up, come in and get a few fish, feed them once a day, spare, like what they'll eat within a minute is all they need. It doesn't matter how fish always look hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So just ignore that. You feed them once a day. That's all they need. And the cycle process takes 4 to 6 weeks. And if you can be patient and get past that point where your ammonia spikes and it disappears, then you have your nitrate spike and it disappears, and then you got your nitrate. Once you're at the nitrate stage, your tank cycled, and you can add the proper stocking amount of fish for the tank you have. And that's it.
And that's a tricky question on itself. What is the proper stocking amount?
A lot of people say so many fish per inch, and I never went by
an inch
that.
A gallon. That's what a lot of people would say.
I don't go for that. When I was breeding angelfish and discus, I had 200 baby discus in a 40-gallon breeder that were about an inch long. 200.
And they require nice
they are
water.
Absolutely finicky. You look at them the wrong way and they die. But I had 200 in a 40-gallon breeder, and the way I did that all came down to water changes. I did an 80% water change on that tank every day.
Oh, wow.
Every day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I pounded the food to them, and that's how I got them big. You get fish big by and then people say, oh, they only grow to the size of their tank, and that is totally wrong. You're gonna torture a fish if you take a goldfish and stick it in a 10-gallon tank. Goldfish we sold them last year. We sold about 10 of them that were 12 inches long. Goldfish, feeder goldfish, and the fish is going to get possibly spine going all crooked. And
always
and
bending.
It's just the fish is just going to suffer. That's like us living in a closet.
Yeah.
Like you need room.
But it boils down to clean water and lots of food.
Lots of food.
That's bottom line. But if you give lots of food and you don't do the water changes,
you're a disaster.
Then you're going to kill them from ammonia spikes and whatnot. So, yeah, there's ways to do it. I don't know how many plecos I have in that 90-gallon tank over there. I don't know. Right now, and with the breeder box on it, I'd say there's 300 to 400 plecos in a 90-gallon tank over there.
Yep.
But it's my grow tank. It's got 5 sponge filters running on it. And it gets a lot of water changes.
Yep. That's the key.
Bottom line. Same with all my tanks get lots of water changes. Really, I'm a once a weeker. That's my thing. That tank's once a week. If I get up to like 600 plecos in that tank, then I'll start doing it maybe twice a week.
Yeah.
But I check my ammonia. It's all good.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have a look, see what people are saying. Great discussion. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. Yeah, everybody wants a live a live.
Daphne culture.
Yeah. Oop, I clicked on the wrong one. But
No, I'll definitely get these Daphne rocking and
good night, Sailfin. Yeah, Select Pet wants a live. B. macrostoma is on the cares list too. That fish you just got.
no way. What?
There you go.
Holy. I did not know that.
Sorry, we got gabbing away, and I don't even think to look at all this stuff. I hope we're not boring everybody to death, but it seems to be a good conversation. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate that. So, what else you want to talk about, buddy?
I don't know.
What's on your mind? What's on your fish keeping world mind?
I don't know. I'm enjoying the hobby a lot.
Back into it.
Back into it. I've been out of it for a while. I was into reptiles for a while, and I had some really cool high-end reptiles, and I got bored, really bored. Because once you feed them, you clean their environment, do what you got to do, water them, and everything like that. There's nothing to do.
No.
With the fish hobby, you can spend hours in the fish room, and it's not time wasted. It's actually the whole experience of having fish is awesome. You know, like you're not like here I am talking to Jesse, and a killifish hatched out of this little tub I have here, and you know, that's awesome. Breeding fish has always been on my agenda. I've been in this since I was 12.
Me too.
47 now.
Oh,
And,
you're old.
I know.
You're old. You got me. You win.
Yeah, but I've bred a lot of fish. Actually, I'll tell you a story. A pistogramma species. They're a dwarf cichlid from South America, and I got a wild pair that I got at Menagerie Pet Shop down in Toronto, and I used to deal with a gentleman down there, Harold. He's not there anymore, but I've dealt with him for years, and I got this wild caught pair, and with the intention of breeding it, and I've bred probably 7 different species of epistos. But the cool thing is, with this one, I could breed discus and angels and rams and all those fish in my sleep. But this particular episto, it was called Epistogramma in iridae. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That's how I've always said it. And it was extremely challenging. I got the pH, I put them in at about 6.5, and I use food grade phosphoric acid to bring down the pH. I don't like the sulfuric acid. I find it's not strong enough. Back in the day, we used to use muriatic acid. That was fun. But anyway, so I got the pH at 6.5 and fed them really well. They're eating live white worms and everything like that. Nothing happening. Female's not looking remotely interested in having a spawn. So I got the pH down to 6, nothing. I got the pH down to 5.5, nothing. 5, nothing.
It's almost coffee.
4.5, nothing. 4, nothing. Finally got it down to 3.5, and I have a really good pH.
Did they start
meter.
Did you see like a chemical burn coming off of them?
And the second I brought it down to 3.5, boom! Within an hour ahead, she was in her cave with a spawn.
Jesus.
And then I turned it and brought it right back.
Like, at what point did you think
fast,
they're just gonna die?
I didn't.
No,
they weren't showing any signs
they weren't stressed at all. They were loving it, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Got them loving.
Yeah, and I raised the batch and brought them back up to Aurelia tap water, and I ended up selling them back to Menagerie Pet Shop. So that was the most challenging fish I've ever spawned. You look at them online, they're not the most colorful, but I love the fins. They were subtle but beautiful in the subtle form. So, and super challenging. I loved it. That was awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like more work than I'm interested in. I leave those fish for you. Anyway, someone asked a question to you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find it here. Sorry, people. I could talk, but I'm kind of... How far back was it? Anyway, someone asked you, what kind of high-end reptiles did you have?
I had, at one point, I was into the ball pythons, and I had, back when the real nice morphs were just coming out, I paid $800 for a bumblebee ball python. I had pinstripe. I paid $600, and I think those were the two most expensive. And then I had a bunch under that price. But probably the most expensive thing I ever paid for or bought was a $976 is what the bill came to for a bearded dragon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I ordered it out of Fire and Ice Dragons.
I got one upstairs I'll give you.
No. No, it was a super citrus leatherback male.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, almost $1,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And now I don't have it. I ended up selling it, and I sold all my dragons. I had a lot of high-end dragons, $500 ones, $250 ones. So I've definitely had some expensive. I was into tarantulas for a short time, and I had a couple of tarantulas I paid $250 for as slings, baby slings, I call them. So yeah, I've had some expensive stuff.
Do you still have your salty stuff?
I have a peacock mantis shrimp for saltwater, and I had an octopus, and it just died the other day.
Oh,
yeah. But when I got it, it could have been like they only live like a year
really?
and a half. Yeah, they grow really fast from a baby to adult, and then they're done.
I just got into this saltwater realm.
Yep.
Oh my God. I guess I got a couple of things to say about it. It's friggin' expensive.
It's not cheap.
I've done it on a budget, but it's still friggin' expensive. It's neat as anything I've ever seen in my life.
It's a different feel.
I'm more fast. I just stand upstairs. It's in my dining room, and it's 65-gallon tall. I got about 100 pounds of live rock, a couple of clownfish, a green spotted puffer that I converted to marine, and what's that other fish I got called? The blue one, the dory. It's a dory fish. Yeah. But it's beautiful, beautiful. We caught it today. It was going down. Grabbing, I feed them clams from time to time for the puffer fish. Everybody eats it. Picking up the old clam shells and backpedaling all up back to the top of the tank, and then letting them go and them going down and hitting the bottom. It was playing games all day. It was hilarious to watch. But all the little microorganisms in it and everything, I'm fascinated. Absolutely fascinated. I got some anemones too.
Yeah. So. That's an awesome. It's definitely different than freshwater. Whole different ballgame. But definitely more expensive. Like the lighting you need is more expensive. The filtration, you need protein skimmers.
Do you need protein skimmers?
I believe in them. 100%. Yeah. Oh yeah, they pull out. You wouldn't believe what they pull out of crystal clear water. Just black sludge. It's
Guess I gotta get one.
Taylor's asking me if I've ever kept blue tongue skinks, and no, I have not. Years ago, we had them at the store. I just never got into them, and now they're coming out with. They have quite a few new morphs, which is pretty cool. But never got into them. No,
I've kept a monkey tail skink.
I've had one of those.
I had a pair of monkey tail
Yep.
skinks. Yeah,
They have claws.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They grip you like.
I had that and a
Holy.
Tigu. Mhm.
Yep. I just sold a Tegu about 6 months ago.
Was it nasty?
No, it was a baby. It was just
Okay.
skittish. But,
Oh, this one wasn't skittish. That's why I got rid of it. I was scared it was going to come out of the enclosure.
Yeah.
Never got out of the
and they
enclosure.
got wicked powerful jaws.
Tell me about it. We used,
Oh.
not maybe for this chap, but man, you'd throw a feeder mouse in or a rat, it was done. But that was a teenager reptile thing, and I didn't have very long. I guess I'm not into the reptiles. Like I don't do anything with the beardy we have upstairs, Lizzie. I don't really like lizards. It's Nicole's lizard. She does stuff with it, but it's just I don't like them.
Yeah,
I don't like them. That's it.
I can appreciate what they are, and I always have. I forgot I had a reticulated python. Had a few actually over the years, but I had one that how much did I spend on this one? It was about. Actually, I traded a snake for this one, and it was a $1,500 albino golden child. They called it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I got that off a gentleman from, I believe he was in Thunder Bay. He came down.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a 20-hour drive.
Yeah, and he delivered it because he was going to Toronto. So he said, I'll stop by, we'll meet. And yeah. So that was,
I guess, I didn't even say where we're from. Some people on here know me, know us, and but some people don't. We're from Ontario, Canada, so we're a long way from Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
But so a 20-hour drive for anybody that's not from Canada and used to really long drives.
Yeah.
We haven't even left the province, and you can drive straight for 24 hours. So you can go way past Thunder Bay.
Oh,
You can go you got about another 8 hours of roads after Thunder Bay. So from one end of Ontario to the other to drive. So what's Niagara Falls is 3 hours from here. Yeah. So 3 hours plus 12. You got about a good 31-hour drive straight and not leave Ontario, not leave our province. We could be in Florida. We can be in Miami faster than that. That's just to put it into perspective, really. Yeah. But it's a long ways. Well, Aquaballs isn't into the salt water. Yeah, you're so right there. Yeah, it's like fish crack. It's horrible. I just bought a new light. Had it ordered. Yep. I ordered it. Got it in today.
Got it in today. Yep.
So there were some more bucks, and I don't know. Yeah, it's
fish get sick really easy. I find they can get most common ick, but there's a lot of things that can happen with fish. I've bought in a few shark eggs over the years and hatched them out. That's pretty cool. Hatching out shark eggs and hand feeding the little guys. Yeah, they're awesome because they're only about.
How big are the teeth when they're that little?
Oh, you can't even feel them.
No? Like bass or something, like just little nubs.
Yeah, but they're cute as a button. Love them.
Oh, very good.
Back into freshwater, and I'm enjoying doing the shrimp. Jesse got me back into the shrimp. I got the shrimp first, and then got out of it, and Jesse got me back into it. And I just noticed some babies just earlier today before I came over to Jesse's to do this podcast. So
shrimp are my they're my things.
Yeah, Jesse's got it down, figured out for sure with the shrimp.
Hey, Aquafunk, how's it going? We've had lots of discussions so far. I don't even know how long we've been recording here. But yeah, I don't know how to figure that crap out. But anyways, yeah, shrimp have became my passion. I don't want to say I don't do neocaridina because they're too easy, but I don't do neocaridina because they're too easy.
Yeah.
I
gotta have a challenge.
Yeah, I enjoy the caridina shrimp. I enjoy creating the different kinds of caridina shrimp. I do have a few cherry shrimp down here for neocaradinas, and I have a few red Rileys upstairs. But other than that, everything's and I love it because I love all the plants I could put with them. They don't wreck plants. You can put plants in them. You can do the tanks up really nice, and
they don't eat their babies.
No,
which is huge.
No. And once you get them down pat, once you get that water parameters down pat, and you like treat it like a Bible. I treat it like a Bible. When I'm setting up all my caridina tanks,
identical.
Bam, 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 bam. I can put a TDS meter in any one of those tanks right now. They'll be within 20 ppm. Yeah. And that's why I'm having a bit of success with them, I think.
Absolutely.
What's Frank saying here? Yeah, you're right, Frank. You can make good money off of shrimp. I started with doing it in small tanks. I started in 5-gallon tanks doing it. I've changed my thinking on that. Yeah. I've gone, and I guess because I had an opportunity to get some tanks that were bigger. That's what made my mind think of it. But I've gone to 21-gallon cubes for most of my shrimp, and that way I find it just keeps the water parameters more stable, and the success since I've done that has taken off. Incredible. 80A Amazonia substrate. Yeah. I swear by it too. Yeah. I guess fluval stratum, you can use it. It'll work. It'll do the job. But I have way more confidence in the ADA. Yeah. Yeah. Same thing as we were talking about earlier. It's patience. It's a patience game. Oh, yeah. Nothing more than nothing less. It's patience. I wait 8 weeks for my shrimp tanks to cycle before I put and that's I can cut that. I can cut that down a bit. I can cut it down if I start with a seasoned sponge filter, but by rights, it's pretty much 8 weeks to get one ready. Yeah. But it's worth the wait.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's worth the wait. I don't know, bud. Do you got anything else on the docket to talk about? I
don't know. Are there any discus people out there? I've had discus for quite a number of years, and I have a good amount of knowledge on them for sure, experience.
Oh, they were talking about they were having a. Oh, we've been going 61 minutes, Trevor. We've been going an hour. I'm just looking through the comments to see. Quite a bit of gone. But anyways, I think I'm ready to wrap her up, bud.
Yeah.
We've had a pretty good talk here. We got quite a bit off topic, but I think we've talked enough for one night.
Yeah.
We'll leave some to talk again.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what we're gonna do is make sure we get you guys the video for the I'll get the Aquafunks question there, but we are going to definitely do a live food video. I think that only makes sense to do that.
Yeah. Aquafunk, just answer your question real quick. I never keep angels and discus together. Never have, never believed in it. I love both fish equally, but I would never keep them together. Just there were too many. I knew some people that had problems with angels getting sick and it transferring over to the discus because discus can get sick so easily. So I've always kept them separate.
Bit of fin nipping too between the the angels and the discus, I would think. No?
I don't know. I've never.
Well, you never did it, so I guess you don't know, right?
Never knew. I've always wanted to try Ultim angels, but they're
Ultim
really
angels?
hard to get. Oh, they're huge.
Are they?
Oh yeah, but they're harder to breed than discus.
Huh.
Yeah, but that's for another time.
Thanks a lot, Bob. Thanks for moderating. Appreciate you taking part. And F&S Fish Room said he's had discus with his stingrays. I guess if they don't go to the bottom, eh?
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. For sure.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time to sign out. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And yeah, if you missed part of it or all of it, you can rewatch or on my channel. Thanks a lot. Happy fish keeping.
Take care.